This kind of evolved. We started the art dealing in the 21st Century Symposium back in 2013 in New York to to honor the 25th anniversary of Lang's death. And we just thought that'd be a one-off thing. A colleague of mine, Steve Tans from England, American, who worked with Lang as well, and I came up with this idea. And we thought we would invite everybody that we knew that had worked with Lang, either in London or in the U.S. He spent a lot of time in the U.S., made a lot of friends and contacts here. People like Stan Groff, Fritjof Capra, really quite a number of people. And so we reached out to all of them. Just said, we want to honor Lang's legacy and we'd love you to come. And so a bunch of them agreed to and came, and it was really remarkable. In some ways, it was almost like a homecoming or reunion. I saw people there I hadn't seen in 30 years. But a lot of new people came, younger people who were curious, that heard R.D. Lang and wondered who he was and what this was about. And so it was a really lovely mix of people. We all gave talks based on our predilections, kind of like you see here. And it was fantastic. We just loved it, and we thought, well, we should continue this. And Nita and Fritjof Capra and I decided to move it to California, and that Esalen was the perfect place to do that because Lang had had a long relationship with Esalen. Of course, we live in Northern California, not that far away, and we thought we'd do it as an annual event, and instead of a weekend, a week-long event. And would bring in breath work, and in different aspects that we felt fit Lang's legacy. But the most important part was just kind of honoring, his take on the human condition and how that's impacted us personally, but also society and the treatment of mental illness and schizophrenia and our whole attitudes about it. So in a way, we envisioned it as taking what was going on in London when, I trained there, Nita trained there, and transplant it to a new setting. And that's really what these meetings have been. This is very typical of the kind of meetings that we had in London, in our training and our open seminars that were open to everybody. And it was just so wonderful. And we thought, we could do that here. We also thought that we would maybe think about opening a house like Kingsley Hall. And a lot of people like James and other people who had been students of ours at that time were very keen on living in such a house and having that experience, that we had talked so much about. And so we thought Esalen would be a great place, to advertise that, bring in new people, maybe people with money that would contribute and help fund it. And that was a big part of the Esalen project. It was to keep Lang's legacy alive, but also to maybe start a new project. And so every year we picked a different theme that we thought was consistent with existentialism and with Lang's legacy. Just as this year, the theme was "What is Death?" And over time, we coalesced a community, people that started coming every year. And then COVID happened, and that kind of derailed the idea of a residential community. And then we got to thinking, well, what else could we do? And suddenly everybody was doing remote learning and remote seminars and remote this and remote that, and everything was happening on YouTube. And we thought, well, we could do a training program this way. We started one here in '88 that was local in San Francisco. But here we thought, goodness, we could have people all over the world involved in this thing. And not only that, but teachers, people like Doug Kersner in Australia, John Mills in Canada, some of my closest friends and colleagues who we never really were able to work together on something. And of course, James was very keen on this idea. He's been instrumental in the House Project, and now suddenly we switched gears to training in existential psychoanalysis. So that's how it happened. And 2 years ago, we started our first group. And somehow we were blessed by the gods. Somehow we got the 3 best candidates you could have possibly asked for. Michael Montgomery, David MacBryde, Nina Gutin. Just the luck of the draw, because really with the beginning of any enterprise, it all comes down to how it starts. Who's there? What's the basis of it? How does it go? Because you're never going to be able to get away from that. And I love starting new things. I've done that a lot of times, and I love this kind of juncture, where it's also creative and unknown and alive. And every person involved in it makes such a huge impact on what it is. So I just want to say I'm just so thankful. We've been so lucky to have these 3 brilliant colleagues coming our way. And of course, once they stop the training, they're going to continue with our society. We'll be meeting on a regular basis. And it just goes to another level. So anyway, that's all I want to say, just to give you a little bit of background. So, James?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to follow up on that a little bit, just to say, here we are to talk about death, but, if we talk about something that I, have considered in light of our progression to the new school from, the beginning to now, we had this whole thing for Gnosis that we tried for 7 years or something. It was a long time, and it brought so much life, it was the symposia and salons and communities that were brought together from all over. But the life didn't lead it to making Gnosis happen. And it was at this point where we had accepted the death of that, that, okay, all that we put into it, we can let that go. And then COVID was this dead sort of period. But then, we emerged out of it. I had my weekly lunches with Michael. And then finally it emerged, like, we could do something here. And the amazing thing about the new school is that and all of you guys, is that it became something that turned all of that somehow into this new life, And I just I feel very honored, really, to have all of you guys come through it. And, I'm really a student myself, and just to be a part of facilitating your guys' experience, the whole adventure of going through it. I just never imagined that you guys would get so much out of it and that I would get to be so intimately involved in seeing what came of it. And I agree with Mike. This is like, you guys are the beginning of, not the absolute beginning. You guys are part of something that's been brewing, but also you're the beginning of something that's really going to continue to take shape and, just has so much incredible potential for life. I'm not saying in an abstract way. I mean, the fact that you guys are a part of it, each of you individually, the fact that we got so lucky as to get you guys is what makes it the difference between, hey, let's, we didn't, Gnosis didn't work out, and let's try the new school. And, that was something, just another thing that we tried and it didn't take form. You guys have made it into something it's clear, the new school, this whole thing we're doing together, learning how to be with people, to work better clinically and to have a community together. You guys are what makes that clear, that this is a whole new life. So really appreciate all of you for trusting us and jumping in and giving it, committing to the program in spite of the fact that it's a great risk to you, to put all that time and love into it. So just want to say that. So thank you. And I think after, today we'll have an opportunity to just each of the supervisors will say something about each of you, and have certificates, and so maybe we could just get started with that.
Why don't we ask John and Doug to say a few words, since
yeah,
they're the instrumental
absolutely
part of our teaching. John?
I'm looking back in my memory banks here, and I've taught for over 30 years, and this has been the best experience I've ever had. I've found working with the three folks of this first cohort to be the most enjoyable and intellectually stimulating aspect of my career when it comes to training. And I don't say that lightly. I've done a lot of these things, institutes, graduate school. But this is special to me for a number of reasons. I think I think just being able to be ourselves without having to have pretenses, without having to have fixed agendas, and not having to pretend to be the authority. I mean, there's been no postgraduate place I've taught or supervised where my supervisees can call me an asshole and tell me to fuck off. So there's something about that that we can debate, we can disagree, and we can learn from one another. So it's been a special time these last 2 years to spend the time with Nina, Michael, and David in the didactics, and also in the supervision with the men in the room there. So I feel honored, just like James, and deeply grateful and appreciative. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I absolutely echo John's thoughts, statements. I've been involved in teaching at all levels for longer than I can, 55 years or something or other anyway. And this has been an amazing experience for me, really fantastic. And I've really enjoyed the camaraderie, as we now say, and the family feeling and the quest ideas that everybody seems to, everybody sort of shares. And it isn't that everybody shares the same ideas, it's that there's sort of like the same kind of quest of understanding the human condition and psychological point of view and so on. And being open. And I was thinking of a statement, it's an Eastern maxim, I don't know if I always get this right, but we seek not to imitate the masters, rather we seek to we seek to we seek to get what to go where we seek to achieve what they sought. We seek to go to what they sought. So we're seeking the same things as the masters without imitating them. And as we know, psychoanalytic institutes tend to reproduce each other, reproduce themselves in that kind of way, and they're not known generally for being terribly open. Or and the divisiveness of late that I've mentioned before here. The divisiveness of late, as John might have encountered, in Division 39 and the American Psychoanalytic Associations as examples of the incredible sort of ideological divisiveness that can happen. And when that happens, then the other side just goes and gets destroyed. I mean, it's just awful. It's very, very unpleasant for those of you who have been unfortunate enough, let's say, to have had dealings with this stuff. So, anyway, getting back to the three graduands, actually now graduates, it's been amazing. You know, there are three people who are very different in many ways. They really have different takes on things. They've got different approaches in some ways, but they work together and they support each other and they care, and they're all after the same kind of quests, and it's all worked out remarkably well. I mean, it's hard to imagine anything that would be better than what's happened. And I think the faculty people and all the supervisors, and it's a lot of organisation that's involved in that, and it needn't work. It needn't have worked, but it has. Serendipitously, I hope it. I don't think it's just a stroke of luck. I think it's a system that's really worked, and I think we will go from strength to strength. And the other thing I want to say is that in this situation, the three people who are coming through, it's not death. It's not even a partial death. You know, in a way, maybe they're not going to quite the number of seminars or whatever. But, you know, this idea of the society is very much alive in the idea that we will continue, that the three people and the current students and the faculty and the supervisors and everybody all will be together, together even more. So, and I think it's not something that it's not saying goodbye in any sense whatsoever. It's another. If you want to think about it, it's the seminar on death, and then we have rebirth. So I think it's wonderful. So I want to congratulate the three people, but also the people who are now going through the training. I mean, you certainly are scarcely forgotten in our minds. We're very much part of the same family that we love. So.
Beautiful. So yeah.
Are we up? Yeah.
So
First,
we're gonna start with the first.
I'll say a few words, and John, then you. We both supervise Michael. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So do we want Michael to stand up?
So Michael, yes.
Get your ass up
Where
there.
is Michael hiding?
I'm feeling very emotional. That's why.
I know, man.
I'm being honest.
Dude.
Don't be honest. Okay.
Hi. Oh, gosh. This is a touching moment. I mean, I've known Michael for what, 10 years or so. And it's just been in the last 2-3 years that we've really had this chance to collaborate. And it's like love at first sight, you know, kind of thing. It's, I just adore him. We have this Irish connection. And so, in a way, he feels like family to me. And I just couldn't be more proud and more honored to have such a remarkable person being a member of our first graduating group. I don't know really what to say. I mean, he's just such a remarkable thinker, wonderful, loving human being. All that comes across in Michael's clinical work. His talks here at Esalen and similar over the last 2 years. Just this lust for life and passion and openness and love. And I just couldn't be more honored and delighted to have Michael as a colleague. And, you know, to keep the flame going, you know, we're trying to keep this unique thing about R.D. Lang and phenomenology and open-heartedness alive in a profession that is very often cruel and senseless. So anyway, this just want to give you this certificate of graduating from New School for Existential Psychoanalysis, and that Michael is now certified by Free Association as an existential psychoanalyst. Congratulations.
Is it down again?
No?
No, you gotta stay. John's
Now John's turn.
Man, I didn't know this was gonna be a love fest. I hope everybody didn't, you know, overdose last night at the party. But hey, Michael, I can't see you.
Hey, right there, Michael.
Here.
All right, bud. Hey, you know, you're a special man. I feel so lucky to know you and to have formed a friendship with you, which, you know, you just can't, you know, you can't ask for these things. They just develop naturally. So I feel very blessed. And I also want to say to the group just how talented you are. I mean, what do you say? You're not a newbie. You're a senior clinician. You're a senior thinker, and you know, for us to work together has you know enriched me. It's like I'm rethinking the notion of what is a philosopher. I don't think I want to say I'm a philosopher anymore. I'm a student of philosophy, and I realize that thanks to your encouragement and edgy questions during the the seminars. So I really want to tell you how much I value you, and you know how we're all going to stay in touch in the society and continue to enrich our relationship. So thank you so much, my friend.
If you want to.
Yeah, I just want to say something quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very emotional on a lot of different levels. But you know, for those of you who aren't really aware of the faculty's work, I mean, these people are at this kind of level, and part of the emotion is just to hear these words from people that I love and respect. But I have to speak to their generosity and their warmth and their encouragement. And you know, I kind of signed up to hang out. That was the goal. And then they had this interview process, and I kind of knew Michael, and it's great. And I was a bit ambivalent about it. And then John, I used to carry John's books around with me in my bag. I was so in awe. It's going back 10 years. So actually to be in an interview, I was like really nervous because he's like formidable reputation. He couldn't have been more kind and warm and generous. Doug's the same, Australia, James. So that's not usual in psychoanalytic training. They're up their own fucking arses and they've all sorts of different issues and they hold back. So to be met with that love and the consistency, I think all the ingredients led to the blooming of one's experience and practice. And immediately, and this is probably the best bit, the patients benefited, right? So it's like you take here, you take, it's going out into the world. It's not about us as individuals. And I never looked back clinically, you know, and I was already qualified and you know been around the book, but it just went on and on and on, and obviously my dear colleagues, but I I'm just flooded with gratitude for the opportunity, but actually to have joined the family. I hate that expression. Oh, my thingy fam. You know, I never had a family like this. You know, I've never felt to be more real and to be myself, and I haven't experienced joy like this in such a long time. And my life's pretty good. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's great to be here.
Who's
Come on, David, you're next.
David?
We're stand up now?
Yes, if you could stand up. Is this
The cup's empty.
cup's empty? There you go. Well, not as practiced at this as Michael and John are, but I just say, you know, the first thing that strikes me is that it really has been such an honor that you chose me, and you know that I thought when I saw David, I thought, you know, he's a great clinician. That was obvious, you know, as soon as I talked to him at all, and the idea, you know, that I was going to supervise him, I really struggled to come to grips with that, you know, but he was so humble and so open and so fervent about just, you know, thinking through ideas at any angle. You know, it was clear that, you know, it was going to be okay. David could make use of any conversation to learn a great deal and to understand something new about his patient. And there's just something about David that the way he thinks about people, it's always coming back to, you know, these things that people don't often think about, how challenging it is to be in relationships with people. And he has this fascination with some of the people who have the hardest time, you know, people who are really, for example, schizoid, you know, people really just struggling with intimacy. He wants to really understand what it's like to be, you know, in their shoes. And, you know, the way he's just come into the group and just been somebody who has just every step of the way gotten warmer and closer and made these huge strides, you know. So huge.
Quiet, John.
You know, these huge.
Pipe down, choir boy.
I'm gonna lose it to my if I hear it. But yeah, it's you know, these just huge strides just in relation to the group as being in it and giving so much to everyone in it, the people who are graduating now and the new people, bringing so much life into it and attention to it, and also clinically, you know, somehow he's just gotten so much out of all this. And I really feel, you know, that I told you, of course, that when, you know, I'm supervising you, I'm always learning, you know, from how you think about it. So I would say I've gotten at least as much as you have out of it. You know, I really appreciate it. So Yeah, this is for you. Thank you.
And John?
Oh, John, yeah, your turn here. There we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, the camera seems frozen, so I can't see,
Oh,
I can't see.
it's frozen right now, John?
I can hear everybody, but I can't see.
You know, I'd really like you to see. Why don't I, can you pop off and come back on, John?
Okay,
John pops.
Okay, just, yeah.
Whole new language, huh? Popping off.
I don't know.
Flopping off.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Is that appropriate for this setting to say that?
Flopping off.
Pop back on.
okay, you can see? Okay. Alright, John.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Dave, my bro. I guess I want to say that I wish if I had the choice, I wish you were my brother and my therapist. I really cannot say how much I love you. So, sorry I can't be there in person. I really would like to give you a big hug right now. Just same as Michael, but there are some special moments we've had. Really special moments. And so, I don't know if there's anything else I can say. I think you know how I feel. And, you know, you're a special man.
Mom MacBryde. Breathe.
You know, I almost didn't sign up for this program. I remember the interviews with Michael and Doug and John. And then I almost left after the first year. All my frantic attempts to avoid really, truly belonging somewhere. You know, finally. And even with James, you know, at the end of year one, I was like, hey, maybe I'll switch supervisors, you know? I'll get more experience and go wider. All to try to avoid, like, you know, more intimacy, more closeness. I told him about that. I'm like, I'm an idiot. It just, you know, I needed to talk it through with you to stay. So all the levels, you know, first the cohort, you know, Nina and Michael and I, you know, how much can we like, oh, hey, Nina, Michael and I. It was so special. We can't stop talking about it. And then Eleonora and Sean Harrell, who's not here, who will be graduating next year. Man, there's like 4 new people coming in. It's growing. It's so beautiful. But then the faculty. I'm not going to talk about you two guys as the faculty, but because I have some other words for you guys. But you know, Heather and Doug and Astrea and Renat, you know, and Machine Gun Sandy, who's not even here. Sandy Rosenberg. Guy's beautiful. I wish he was here. I'm leaving people out. And then Michael Thompson, I mean, he's at the top, just the top of the pyramid. You're the man. I'm so thankful to know you and like that you let me in the program. I always felt like the interloper, you know, all these people with their psychoanalytic training, you know, and their institutes, you know, when I came in 30 years, you know, the spio came in from the cold, 30 years of just dealing with like madness. And that's just my own, not to mention the work that I was doing. And then these two cats right here, you know. John, are you frozen? You got them on silent? Did you mute them?
Oh, yeah, he's muted.
Yeah.
You're still there though, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's a yes.
Yeah.
He's still here. But James and John, I think I said it somewhere in the past week. I've lost track of everything I've said this week, but I don't remember who I was 2 years ago. I was a manifestation of myself somewhere, but I don't remember. And these two guys, I mean, it's you know, I have to give these guys the focus because I'm with them every week, noodling on this shit that's like way, you know, beyond my capacity. And it takes multiple minds to try to figure out, multiple hearts. And I couldn't have done it, but you know, it's interesting how we talked about like, why did I choose James? You know? And the reason is that I didn't want to choose Michael because I knew there was administrative stuff, you know, and I didn't want anything polluting the supervision. I wanted to be able to deal with him on business and didactics, and so he's Michael adjacent, you know. So I felt like it's like getting Michael. Yeah. So and then John Mills, it was. We have our own, you know. You there, John? It's like it's like listen to a New York City subway driver squawk through the microphone. You can't understand what they're saying.
Do you hear John?
Anyway, I won't belay, but John Mills and James Norwood, I mean, these are two men that I love so much, and I feel so lucky to know you, so honored, and I'm greater and deeper because of both of you. Couldn't have said it better.
Anyway,
Thank you. John, I'm giving you a virtual hug. I'm gonna come see you and give you a real hug over in Nova Scotia when you finally get your house built.
Thank you.
Nina, your way of being, your mind, your heart, your experience, and the way that you make space for other people's experience and make space for becoming and for the unknown and marginalized and the misunderstood and not understood. I loved seeing that and being with that and facilitating that in whatever way I might have. I don't know that I did because I felt that you were your own person always with your work. And you have a way about you holding everyone in mind. You know, even this week, you come up, you ask me something, and you say, "Oh, I need to find, you know, Eleonora, because I want more. I'm thinking about her, and you know, and little things like that, and then advocating for. It's like she really sees you guys, you know, and Michael, David, and she sees each one of you. And it's just been so precious to know you. I love you. And to have met your friends and your daughter. And it's just been and she's right in Los Angeles. So it's really wonderful. I feel like.
Yeah, remind me to, we do stuff together, so remind me to figure out the date of that concert.
She kind of, it's wonderful invitations. So you're here now. You did it, and you've done so much. You have so much philanthropy as well. You're gracious, and I'm so grateful that you came upon us and that I got to work with you and that you chose me. Thank you.
Nina, I want to thank you. Oh. Thank you for choosing me. And I have written a few words that I will give to you. Dear Nina, I'm very happy and honored to have served as your supervisor for 1 year. You're so super sweet, caring, very attentive to your patients, deeply attentive. I saw that in every note, every minute, how much you were in tune with them. You're interested in every kind and aspect of them. I really wish you the best. I'm going to give you so you can read it.
Okay.
And I really wish you all the best in your life, career, in everything. And I think you know, I really mean it. And I hope you continue.
Yeah.
And to be friends. I feel like a friend.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, I hope.
I love it.
Beautiful.
I'm having a Sally Field moment. Well, first of all, Heather wasn't originally on. She was listed on the website, but wasn't on the list of supervisors. And I was looking through it, and I saw her bio, and all of the things that you were sort of trying to integrate everything from sort of neuroscience to this and that, and I just thought that's it. I just like, wow. I would love to get a sense of that mind. And so that's why I chose you. And, you know, you would just sort of have suggestions like, and you would always sort of be pushing me more towards embodiment, which tends not to be my strong suit. I prefer to be, a talking head in the ether. And being able to take that in and make use of that just like richened the work so much. And then also just like morphing it into a friendship, and like the fact that we can get goofy and silly together. I love that. And I've just learned so much. And then so I only had I had Heather 1 year, and then I had had to argue with David about this but ended up having just like the Heather the first year and Stray the second year. And I think you'd done like a presentation or two, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what a like a wonderful, expansive, powerful, but yet at the same time gentle mind. And so, I thought it was hard to say goodbye to Heather, but just being able to have you say yes, and I've just learned so much from you. And you will say things like, I think it's a good idea to try this, like, but and so and actually there was one time when she made this suggestion that I should use for my client. I'm like in the middle of my dinner. I can't remember how this went. See, this is okay. The gummy is a little bit too powerful. There was like this serendipitous thing. So I was thinking about my client, and I know what it was, and it had something to do with some enacting something or sort of doing something within the family. And then I'm thinking about this, and then I get a text from my client saying, take a look at this documentary. It's about basically the same, the same family configuration, like at the very same time that I was thinking about that. And so it just sort of, that serendipitous, synchronous feeling of she'll suggest something and the way that it ends up manifesting is magical. Yeah. And then just like, all right, well, I'll start with my cohort. Yeah, just like everybody said, like we're different, but I just have felt like, and again, the learning doesn't feel like the right word. It feels too flat. Like I have been able to take in, and it was interesting during the dance movement last night. Shannon, you asked us all to sort of do a repetitive movement. And the movement that I found myself doing, I wasn't thinking about it, was of taking in and giving back and taking in. And I think what was coming up through me is that, like, I have just taken in, where's my eyes are about, there you are. Like, just so much from the two of you and again, not necessarily, I mean, yeah, it was fun to do the intellectual sparring in the didactics, but also being able to bear witness to your work, your sacred work with clients, and to be able to sort of take that in, which sort of changed the way that I feel and do my work. And so, to me, that has been at least as valuable as what all of the fantastic faculty have provided, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Don't feel neglected. Although my memory is bad to begin with, and on these it's even worse. So just and being able to have differences and to say so and so, I'm angry at you for X, Y, and Z, and then we can have a conversation and hear each other's perspectives and still love each other. So I love that we can do that. And that meant so much as well. So well, first of all, Michael, I remember you put the ad out on what was it, Division 39, and I'm like, this seems interesting, but I'm way too busy to do it this year. Can I do it next year? Oh, it won't be that much work. It's only this much. Seduction, plain, or I would say intellectual seduction at least. And so, because I was worried, I have a crazy schedule, my own fault, but nevertheless, crazy schedule, was wondering, is this going to work? And I'm so glad I did this, because this has been one of the sort of richest pieces of my, as you've heard, my very varied life. And I just feel so incredibly grateful that you seduced me that first time. And then, just like all of the faculty, presenting. And again, for me, it's sort of bringing back when I talked about that I want to make a B movie. I was a teenage existentialist. I even have a commercial for it. Ever feel so much angst that you break out in a cold sweat? Try New Kierkegaard. But just, being able to sort of have the discourse and the serious talk about these issues that I so longed for as a teenager and couldn't find anyone to do that. It like went back to satisfying that like basic need of, yes, these are crucial issues to be talking about, playing with, discussing, and just the way you all like allowed us in the seminars to, again, I love people know that I love the word play and in all of the metaphorical implications, but to be able to sort of move out of the strictures of what if this sounds stupid or what, and just play with the ideas and bat them back and forth and miss the balls and go to get them. And, it was just marvelous experience. And each teacher who taught on different brought a whole new element to the text that we were reading and discussing. And that was always also wonderful and enjoyable. You know, you did just from Machine Gun Sandy to everyone had their own particular take on things and would bring their personalities into the material in a way that made it come alive. So I just have so much appreciation for everyone in this program, and thank you so much.
So I just want to say a few words. Obviously, this would have never happened without John Mills, dear old friend, known for many years, and finally we got an opportunity to come together and teach, which is our passion. And Doug Kersner, 49 years that we've known each other. And it's just like being in heaven, that I have two of my very dearest friends that are, it's like we're all together, in the same place. And of course, James and Estrella and Heather. We just really are so blessed with such wonderful people that have all joined us in this, and I couldn't be happier. I feel like this is a culmination of my career. I really love this. So thanks so much.
But don't die too soon.
I'll be around.